Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the last 55 years in the JFK assassination. Yes, this November 22nd of 2018 will mark the 55th anniversary of the assassination of JFK. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at what was covered over the last 55 years, and then we're going to look into what I uncovered within the last 13 years. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some things here. As you see, I got three files up, which is behind JFK's, basically the assassination, the stories told and how they was told, and then you have a file with my name, Leroy, on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some of this stuff and we're going to see for what happened actually in the last 55 years when it came to JFK assassination. So let's get started on who was behind the assassination of JFK. In the last 55 years, okay, remember the Warren Commission, when it first came out and stuff like that, they said Oswald's a lone assassin, and that was it. But as the years go by, people start adding more to the stories and everything else. And all of a sudden, out of clear blue, we have Lyndon B. Johnson behind the assassination of JFK, J. Edgar Hoover behind the assassination of JFK, George W. Bush behind the assassination of JFK, Fidel Castro behind the assassination of JFK, the FBI, or the CIA. These are the people that they're marking that who was behind the assassination of JFK. Plus, they also claim that somewhere along there, the mob was behind the assassination of JFK, but they're not really pushing too much of the mob. They're mainly pushing these guys right here, Castro, Bush, Hoover, and Lyndon B. Johnson, and FBI and the CIA. They're mostly pushing who was behind the assassination of JFK within the last 55 years. Now, here's how these stories revolved. Okay, we're going to look at the four top people that's always talked about the JFK assassination. And then we're going to see the people that jump into it and everything else. Okay. First, we have the first four top ones are Vincent Bugalowski, which I know I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, but we're going to go with Vincent, which is this one here. We got Gerald Posner. We got Jim Myers. And we got Robert Groden. Okay, we're going to bring up all these four men. These are mainly the four. Now, there's other researchers out there. Okay, there are other researchers out there that's, you know, people talks about when it comes to the JFK assassination. However, they're not brought up as much as these gentlemen here are. Okay, these gentlemen here are brought up more than anybody else. Okay, especially when it comes to JFK assassination on documentaries and everything else like that. So we have these four men right here. Robert Groden, Vincent, Posner, and Jim Myers. Now, when we look at Jim Myers and Robert Groden, they're on the conspiracy side. There was a conspiracy in the JFK assassination. When we look at Vincent and Posner here, they're on the Warren Commission side. Excuse me. Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone assassin, and he took the 3 shots, and that was it. Okay, this is going back and forth for many, many years now. This is all going back and forth, back and forth. So when we look at that, we're going, okay, well, we got out of the 4 top ones, we have Jim Myers and Robert Groden on the conspiracy side. We have Posner and Vincent on the not conspiracy side. Then we know that stepping into the picture, we have Jesse Ventura. He's going to step in and says, hey, no, this is a coup d'etat, and a coup d'etat, I think it was, and, you know, a conspiracy going on, okay? Then we have people that pops in right here, like Beverly Oliver. She became the Babushka lady. We have Judith Baker, which is Oswald's lover. And we have Gene Hill. Okay, we got these three ladies that comes in play. Okay, we got Jean Hill. We know Jean Hill was there because we see her in Zapruder film. But, you know, Judith Baker, you know, she came out of the clear blue. No one ever who she was. But she knew Oswald, and it goes in where it comes into where they go into where Clay Shaw and all this other stuff. And then we have Bellevue Oliver claim she was the babushka lady. You know, these are just brought up stories. We know Jean Hill was there, but she added more to her story. So basically, this is all we're looking at, and this is what I'm trying to point out here. Then we know everybody knows Jim Garrison, which is a good attorney and everything else. He's the one who brings Clay Shaw into the mix. Okay, he brings Clay Shaw into the mix. We have James Files, which brings in Nicoletti into it. So James Files is the one who brought Nicoletti into the picture when it comes to assassination of JFK. Remember, he said he was the gunman behind the picket fence. Okay, and you know, they also said, well, here's Charles Harrelson was the tall tramp, you know, but again, they say that Frank Sturgis was also the tall tramp. So we have the tall tramp being two different people, Charles Harrelson and Frank Sturgis. So see, this is why I said when it comes to stories, that's all it is just a story, no evidence. Then we have the so-called gunman was found in the Orville Nix film. We have the Badge Man, okay, and we got the puff of smoke that they portray, which Robert Groban portrays that puff of smoke a lot. Okay, we have this man here, the Badge Man, and this puff of smoke here, which is their evidence. That's it. There's their evidence right there. Mostly all the things they're telling us and talk about is a story. Here's their evidence. But it's not by the same person. Now, Robert Groban will go with this one and this one, but he won't go with this one here. This was from somebody else. But, you know, it's just, this is the evidence right here. The Mary Mormon photo and the puffs of smoke. And then this other one says about the Orville Nix film. So this is their evidence. However, as you see right here, when they talk about this, these are also the evidence they show. Okay. This is also what they show as their evidence. This one, and the magic bullet. Okay, this is it. Okay, this is all they're showing us. Okay, they're going to tell us a story and point this out and point out, but basically this is all that we've been hearing about and seeing for the last 55 years is this right here. So when you look at this, okay, and you see these images, okay, we see the magic bullet shot. Now, we're not even talking about the James Tagg shot because they're not worried about that. Or Governor Connolly being shot, okay? All they're doing is all these people, as you see right here, are pushing the issues of who was behind the assassination of JFK. You see these people here, just like they brought Officer Tippit into it. They brought Malcolm Wallace into it. Okay, these are people because Jack Ruby shot Oswald. Okay, we all know that and everything else. But all these people right here are bringing in all this, but all what they got to show for is nothing. As you see here, this is why they play some files of what people can show as evidence and what they can't show as evidence. Okay, this is what all we can do is just tell a story. That's all we can do. There has no evidence. None of these people actually has pure evidence to back up any of their claims that they're making. Okay, that's like I said. They're saying that Frank Sturgis and Charles Harrelson was this tall tramp. We had James Files said he was the assassin, you know, behind the picket fence. They show these Badge Man, and they show another man from the Orville Nix film. They showed a fatal headshot. They showed a magic bullet. They do their diagrams. Okay, that's all they could tell us, and that's all they could show us. This is all we got in the past 55 years is a story. That's all we got. Now let's look at what I had come across in the last 13 years. Okay, look at this. I present, and this is not all of it, this is just partial of it. This is not even actually a partial of it, this is not even a speck of what I show. But let's look at this the last 13 years now. Remember, the other one was for the first 55 years, and this is what they're sticking to, the stories and everything else. But look what I present here. Okay, I present evidence that shows there was more than one shot fired that day. Okay, I present evidence like, let's look at this right here. We have JFK. I show photographic evidence of the gunmen and their locations and who took the shots to JFK. Okay, I show photographic evidence to show the persons who took the shots to Governor Connally. And same thing for James Files, who took the shot that struck the curb next to James Files. See, I show photographic evidence of these locations. I show you photographic evidence of the shots to the manhole cover, as you see right here. The shot to the top of the corner of the manhole cover. Where they retrieved the bullet they found on that so-called magic bullet. Another shot that struck the side of the manhole cover there. Okay, I'm showing that. Okay, I colorized images. Before all we could see was black and white, but now we can see colorized images as well. And now other people starting to colorize images in the JFK assassination as well after I started doing this. So see, other people's trying to do this. I even show people that when you do research a JFK assassination, okay, they look at it as one individual in a car or two individuals in a car, but here's what the realistic about it is. There were 6 people in the car. I point this out as well. I also go over maps and stuff like that. Like, here's what we should look at when we look at the JFK assassination. Okay, this is what we should look at, but other people looks at it like this. Let me see. Do I have it in here? I thought I did. Let me shrink this one here. Maybe it's underneath here. Here we go, right here. This is the way they look at it here. Okay, this is the way when researchers do the research and their investigations and everything else like that. Okay, this is how they look at their map right here. They just look at the one individual single car. But I point out, no, this is how we're supposed to look at it right here, because this is exactly what it was like that day in the JFK assassination. It was not this, it was this. Okay, that's what I point out. Like I said, there's a lot of things. I even point out photographic evidence of the gunmen in their locations with rifles in their hands, finding rifles in their hands, showing you what shots they took, showing you photographic evidence from different angles, from different people, from different locations, okay, taking the images of the assassination that day. And I pinpoint and show you exactly where they was at the time when they took these images and everything else, showing you where the eyewitnesses were and all that stuff like that. I pieced it all together, and I show people that. I show people that the backyard image, okay, was really not altered or anything like that. It was actually real, but also show that people that, hey, Oswald had 2 rifles and 2 revolvers. One revolver he sold to his brother Robert for a sum of $10. Okay, I point all these facts out. I also sit there they said Oswald was the man in the doorway, which I also point out in films and images. No, it wasn't. It was Bill Lovelady. Okay, I also put time frames to the image. Now we know exactly when All Jen took image number 6 and All Jen took image number 7. We know exactly when all these images were taken, when Mary Mormon's photo was taken and everything else. We know exactly when it was done and taken. We have time frames on it. That's what from my research. Now we got time frames. Okay, exactly when each shot was fired. There was 13 shots fired. We have photographic evidence of that. I give you the gunman's view that when he took that shot to JFK, the fatal headshot, I show how the Zapruder film works. I show how they did copies of their films and everything else. I go over details after details after details. I show photographic evidence. Okay, I show everybody that, hey, no, JFK didn't go back to the left, as we see in the Zapruder film, and even other films, he goes to his left, as we see in these films. I point these out. I show people that, hey, you know, the babushka lady turns on a light, okay, which no one ever even knew before. This, like I said, a lot of this information that I present in my videos, in my books, and everything else, no one's never knew none of this information. This information was lost, just like when I tell people that the rifle that Oswald used, that Clark Cannon rifle, was a decoy rifle. That rifle was not even used, but people still look at that Clark Cannon rifle and trying to use that as an example of, oh, well, you see, you can't use this kind of rifle because of this and that, this and that. When I show people and I tell people, no, that was a decoy rifle. It was never even fired that day. Okay, so we shouldn't even look at the Clark County rifle no more because it was just a decoy rifle. I found Oswald's fingerprints on 2 of the bullet casings, which was never found before. And then we place all this evidence back in place. Then we have more realistic of what that surroundings was. You know, where they found the palm prints, where they found Oswald's fingerprints, you know, the index fingers, palm prints, his fingerprints on the bullets was on these location right here and everything else. We go in depth. We go more detail now. This is what happened in the last 13 years, okay, in my investigation. And it only comes from my investigation. And people, that's what people don't understand. You know, I get a lot of, you know, bad comments from people or bad emails from people and everything else like that, you know, trying to say, you know, I'm out to con people or I'm out trying to make money off the JFK assassination and all this other stuff because I have a GoFundMe account out where I'm asking for donations for a documentary that I'm making. You know, that's for the documentary, as I keep on pointing out. I pushed my book, Evidence of Conspiracy, as I pointed out for the past year. Every book that's sold, that donation goes into that GoFundMe account as well. Okay, that goes into the documentary. So basically, for the past year, I haven't been making no money on none of my books, period, because any book sales from any of my books on my Amazon account, any books that's sold there, all that money goes into this documentary as well. All the money that goes into the GoFundMe, that's for the documentary. None of it goes in my pocket. But I still got people making comments about this or comments about that. And people gets upset when I bring up subjects even just like this right here. What have we learned in the past 55 years from these people here? All we have is a story. I'm not saying nothing bad about the people in general, period. I'm not. All we're getting is a story. They said they have the evidence to present. Present that evidence. I present the evidence I find. I present it in videos. I present it in my books and stuff like that. And I show a lot of my evidence for free. Actually, most of my evidence is shown for free, which you can go on Facebook and look up my stuff. You go on my YouTube and look up all my research I've done and the evidence I present. Okay, I present my evidence. I've always presented my evidence to the public. Okay, what are these people presenting? You want to know more about her, Judith Baker? Buy her book. Okay, Robert Godin, you want to know about his research, you want to see his evidence? Buy his book. Same as the rest of them. You got to buy somebody's book or something to get answers, which you shouldn't have to. Okay, but what do they give us for evidence? Okay, we had the magic bullet theory. We don't hear about James Tagg or nothing like that no more, anything like that. Just like I said, they present these people as behind the assassination of JFK. That's it. You know, this is all the story we get. We got this right here, right? These are people behind the JFK assassination. This is the people that's coming up with the stories and stuff like that. What they show us for evidence is this guy right here. I mean, the badge man, image of a so-called gunman found in Orville Nix film, and these little drawings. That's all they could tell us. That's all they could show us as evidence, or one image right here where there's a puff of smoke, which I already pointed out, and I've proven that that's right above the Newmans, which goes, it's not coming from the picket fence, it's actually coming from the shelter, which I proved that as well. But look at here, like I said, when I look at this right here, and I present this kind of evidence right here, people want to still not believe this. They still want to believe that other stuff there. Okay, which I have no problem with that. Okay, I have no problem with that. All right, but the evidence is there, just like the magic bullet. Everybody want to know how that magic bullet got involved. There's your magic bullet. That's the bullets they retrieved in the grass area. That's where that magic bullet is. As you see, that magic bullet lines up over top of the other bullet that's lying in the grass. Identical bullet. That's where that bullet came from. So see, I find the answers. People ask questions, I find the answers. I sit there and show people, hey, here's frame 330 of the Zapruder film. We can see the bullet impacting Governor Connolly's back. We can see it. This matches his story because he said he was turning off to his left. That's when he found the blow on his back. Okay, I sit there and I show people, hey, here's a gunman on the second floor of the county records building. He's holding a rifle. Why is the rifle sticking out to begin with? Okay, so a rifle shouldn't be drawn at that time. Am I correct? He's just hanging out the window to look up Houston Street, see if they're coming down. which you can see him. Then he starts moving back into the window. Some person says, oh, he's actually holding a baby or a child there, which is not true. He's not holding a child or baby. I'm seeing this frame for frame. Now remember, you can't find these frames nowhere on the net, but you know, I got a copy of these frames. All right. I show in the much more Hughes film. Hughes film should be in here, right here. I show in Hughes film a shot being fired from that same window where we see that gunman hanging out. Okay, I show the positions. Okay, like we're going to look at the badge man's position. I show this. I went to Delhi. I went to Delhi Plaza. This is what that gunman sees. The badge man will sit here. So see, he can't have a clear shot to JFK, and I present this as evidence saying, well, if the badge man's there, how's he going to take a shot to JFK? Because the X is on the other side of this wall here. Okay, I show this. Other researchers won't do this. They'll present that badge man, and there you go, there's the badge man. But what are they presenting as evidence? They're just telling that story of a badge man. But I show you evidence saying, well, no, he can't take a shot from here because here's the position that he was standing, as we see in the Mormon photo, but you see he's hitting that wall there. Just like the other gunman they said they found in the Orville Nix film, standing between the shelter and stuff like that. Here's his view. Okay, he can't even see the road, period, from this location. But they're going to sit there and say, oh, no, that's the man on the side. Just like when I sit there and I show people, I give people view of inside of the sniper's nest right here. I also show people how it happened. You see what I'm saying? This is how it happened right here. I give you the distance. I give you the distance between here and here and everything else like that. Just like right here, I talk to people and I show people. Look how small this pedestal right here is. So you have two people standing on this small little confined area, and one of them has vertigo. Do you see what I'm saying? I make people think because I make them think because I want them to think, and I want them to think of the truth. Okay, other people don't want somebody to think about something. They're going to tell you a story and say, believe this, and that's it. But I tell people, here's what we can see. Here's what we can do. You know, this is what we can see. This is what really occurred. This is this person's view, that person's view. Okay, just like when we look at lining up the films. Do you see a researcher lining up these films like this? Showing you the distance of what Mr. Orville Nix filmed, the distance of what Mr. Zapruder filmed, or anything else, or other films. I even show all this. I go in details, and I go in seconds. You know, I break it all down. You know, I break it all down because I want people to think, because people, when they think about this stuff, and they say, well, yeah, this can't happen and stuff, because the truth can never be revealed. The truth can never be revealed because these people, which I'm going to point out, you know, I'm outspoken. These people want us to believe this story, and that's it. But you can see, I pointed out, this guy here that they said was a gunman, we seen his location. He has no clear shot to JFK. We look at the badge man. Okay, we can see from his location, he has no way to take a shot to JFK. So we're eliminating this now. This is what we're going to do. We're going to eliminate this. Okay, we're going to go exactly what we can eliminate here. So see, now we can eliminate the magic bullet because we know the magic bullet is not no good. Okay, so we're going to eliminate that. So see, as you see, I'm deleting this. Now we know Jean Hill's story is not true, so we're going to delete her. We know Beverly Oliver's story is not true, so we're going to delete her. We know Judith Baker's story is not, can't believe her. Okay, so we know that the tall tramp is not Charles Harrelson, and we know it's not Frank Sturgis. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. Okay, we know there was a conspiracy, so this takes away Posner, Vincent. Okay, we know Malcolm Wallace wasn't there. Okay, we know the magic bullet is not a magic bullet at all, so we're going to eliminate that. Okay, you see how we're eliminating things? We know James File's story is not true. Okay, so see, now we're eliminating. Now we know Charles Harrison wasn't there. So see, now look, all that we're just eliminating. Okay, now we're eliminating things. You see what I'm talking about? So now where's the evidence at? Where's the stories at? Because these people, he believes, Jesse Ventura believes Judith Baker and Beverly Oliver for her story and everything else. So we're going to delete that because he's basically basing everything on what they're telling him. Okay, we know Clay Shaw wasn't in on it. We know Charles Nicoletti wasn't in on it because that was James File's story. That's what brought him into it. Okay, Jim Garrison, he was being told of what all these eyewitnesses, and you see the eyewitnesses we just deleted, so we're going to have to delete him now because he was getting false information. All right, so that leaves us two conspiracy guys, which is Jim Myers and Robert Groden. This image here of the fatal headshot to JFK, the smoke trail, Oswald being shot, and also J.D. Tippit. So see, now we're eliminating a lot of stuff. Now when we go in mine, what can we eliminate? We can't eliminate nothing because all this is facts. So we're not going to eliminate any of this because everything's fact. Okay, we know it's a Mormon photo. We know the Mormon photo holds images of the gunman inside the shelter number 3. We know there's Zapruder film frames, has shots being struck in the manhole cover and the street signs and grass area. We know they was picking up a bullet lying in the grass there. We know they found a decoy rifle there, which is a car cannon rifle. We see the gunman hanging out there. So we can't eliminate none of this stuff. There's not one thing we can eliminate there. And I'm not saying I'm a better researcher than anybody else. I'm just saying what we have to think about. We have to look outside that box. And this is what we've learned in the last 55 years from this stuff. Okay? Now, we can eliminate Castro not being behind it because of stories. We can eliminate Hoover, Lyndon B. Johnson, George Bush, FBI. Whoops. Didn't mean to make a shortcut of it. Delete, and then we're going to delete this. So now, in this file here, we have behind JFK assassination, we have nobody. In this file here, we got a couple researchers and no evidence. The evidence is gone. So you see what I'm saying? We got one file we can look at, and it's just not me. Okay, it's always been in front of the public's eye. That's why I keep on telling people. It's been in front of the public's eye. I'm the one that found it, and I'm the one that's presenting it when they should have found this years ago. They should have presented this years ago if they went in detail. Like I said, I'm not saying nothing bad about any of the researchers out there or anything else. It's just, instead of sitting there basing everything that's told to you, it's best if you just go ahead and do the investigation yourself, and you have to eliminate the eyewitnesses. If their story does not fit, you have to eliminate it. If you don't eliminate it, you're not going to get nowhere. So here's what we got in the past 55 years now. We have nobody behind the JFK assassination, and we have this right here, stories. That's all we have in the past 55 years. The only one right here, which eliminate me from it, this is what the evidence there is. There's a lot more than this. I just put this little bit together here. But there's actually a lot more evidence here. And it doesn't have to be eliminated, just like right here. For years, everybody's sitting there saying, oh, he's looking over the picket fence area, this guy here. Again, I go there and I take an image. This is what he's looking at, shelter number 3. So you see, I present the evidence. And that's all I've been doing is presenting evidence. But I got people saying bad things about me. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm a better researcher than anybody else. I'm not saying I'm, better than this person or that person. All I'm saying is I like details. I don't know about anybody else, but I like everything in proper order. I like details. If you're going to show me evidence, show me. Okay, if you're going to show me a guy shooting behind a picket fence, okay, and you're going to claim he's a badge man, give me that view and let me see for myself if that gunman is true. Now, if he had a clear shot to there, I can say, yeah, well, we got the image of a guy, a badge man behind a picket fence. And he did, from that location, he does have a clear shot. But see, they won't present this. Because if they present this, that blows away their claim. So see, that's why I said we have to eliminate the badge man. Just like the other gunman that they said was found in the Orville Nix film. When they sit there and talk about that, they never give us the view. They just show us the image and say, well, let's look. And they didn't bother saying, well, let's look and see if he can have a clear shot there. They didn't do that. Because if they did, this is what they're going to find here. So now we have to eliminate that. You see what I'm saying? So we have to eliminate stories. This is what I'm talking about. So I'm not eliminating the people or their stories, not because it's all it is a story. That's all they can give us. I'm just presenting the facts to the people. Okay, you have to think about this. Okay, don't base on anything that they're telling you. Think about it. You have to think about it. Okay, I want people to do with an open mind. Think about it. It's not about this or that or this or that. It's about the truth. That's all it's always been about, is the truth. So I just want to make this video here because I was in the middle of doing some more filming for the documentary. So In the description down below, you'll find a site where you can order my book, Evidence of Conspiracy, the only book you ever need in JFK assassination. And as I pointed out in this video, that all my book sales does go into that GoFundMe account as well. So any book you order from my site on Amazon, that money goes into, whether it's a horror story, whatever, that goes into the GoFundMe account. And on the site in the description down below, you also find a site where you can make a donation. $30 or more, you get a free copy of the DVD and your name's in the credits. But, you know, as soon as the documentary is done and everything else like that, I probably won't be posting, you know, my book sites. I'll probably post my book sites, but I'm not going to say, you know, buy it or anything. The only reason why I'm pushing the book sales now is because I figure, you know, they'll get some return, they get the book, plus it's going to help me get this documentary completely done. So don't forget that like button, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to tell your friends about us. Share this information and all the other information from my other videos and stuff so other people know this information. And remember, when it comes to JFK assassination, think about every little aspect. If someone shows you images, say, well, what about this view here? Look at it, you know, look at it from different angles. They're going to show you one image. Is there another image that can back up that image? Or can you see that angle? Can you show me that view from that location stuff? Because when you do it that way, then you understand it more. You can understand, like I just pointed out here, the badge man and the gunman beside the shelter as from Nick's film. When you look at their locations that they was at, you see they didn't have clear shots. So we have to eliminate that. So that's what you need to do when you're doing research in this kind of investigation. So again, don't forget that like button, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to tell your friends about us, and everybody have a pleasant day.